What's going on, everyone? AP over here at Rumpier Sports, bringing to you the Strokes Gain Show. I'm here with my two main guys. I'm going to start with Snyder this week. I feel like this week, I feel like it's Snyder week. So Snyder in the one hole. I just got this feeling, Snyder, that you're going to have a big week this week. There might be a reason why to that, but how's it going, man? How are you feeling about PGA this week?
Yeah, man, it's going good. Riding that heater off that big Ravens win last night. Pretty pumped with that. But yeah, here at this Vegas track here, all my guys are here. My top guys that I like. I mean, either I'm going to win a lot of money this week or I'm going to be broke living on the streets, but hopefully it's the former. I mean, a lot of these guys set up really well here, I think. Highlighted by my main guy, Morikawa, which I'll get into more here in a while, but yeah, pumped here off a good weekend and ready to roll on for this week.
I mean, you got this background up right there. Is that so we can't see Bobby Gomes behind you? Is Bobby Gomes? I guarantee, I bet you got a bed back there. Bobby Gomes just spread out, waiting for you to get off the show. So, you two have been just. I pull up Twitter and it's just like Bobby Gomes, Snyder, talking about Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. It's just, it's a rough scene.
I get like the Lamar love for like DFS and whatnot, but Snyder, I mean, you have to, you've seen this story before. You know how it ends. Like you know how it ends. They're going to beat up on the shitty teams in the regular season, which they played one of the worst ones last night and got absolutely dominated for the first half. But you know what's going to happen. They're going to get into the playoffs. They're going to play a real team. Lamar is going to shit the bed and they go home. Like that's what happened.
Different year this year. I mean,
of course. I've been hearing. Hey, I'm a Lions fan. I've been hearing it's a different year for my entire life. It's never a different year.
The Ravens do win a Super Bowl every 10 years since they've been a franchise. So it is like that 10th year.
Not with your boy Lamar. He's not. He's never
better than Flacco.
He's never winning a championship.
Oh, come on now. I mean, they've got, 20 guys on the IR? They're throwing the ball to Devin Duvernay?
Everyone does.
I don't even know their receivers.
Good stuff, though. I mean, impressive comeback last night. I did not want to see it. I had a cold script going in Showdown formats. I was sitting really good until Lamar did his thing. And then it was a rough scene, but is what it is. Hoop, what's going on, my man? How you doing today?
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying pre-show, like I forget what happens in PGA with it finishing on like these Sundays. It's like it's tough to follow everything. I mean, I was high on Sungjae, didn't have enough of him. I had too many dudes that whiffed and missed the cut. But I think we talked about Sungjae quite a bit on the show. We were all pretty high on him and got the win. Sam Burns continues to play really, really well. Your boy Matty Wolf, I mean, has he found something? I mean, is he turning it around? I mean, it was a rough season last year, but I mean, super impressive so far. But now we get a big boy event. I mean, no cut event and some of the top golfers. So really curious to see like what Sam Burns does in this event. I mean, he's been beating up on the JV team the last couple of weeks. Now he's in the big boy field. So curious to see how he performs. And, I don't mind these no cut events because you don't have to really sweat it out the first 2 days. It's kind of like a day off for PGA DFS. You can kind of cruise through Friday, Saturday, and then the weekend comes, and that's when your guys have to perform. And based on this field and the location, some other factors, I have a feeling me and Snyder are going to be on the same page because I like a lot of his boys this week.
Yeah, I do too. Matt Wolf, real quick. Workbench play last week. It feels good to get, solo second place finish. That's what you want out of the workbench play. And I went massively overweight, which if, I always wait until late to announce a workbench play. And I spend a lot of time thinking about it because it's always going to be my highest owned guy. Like if you haven't, like you can go look at my ownership and what I do. And it's always, so it's not some random play. I'm always very overweight on it, and I had a good golf week. I didn't, win anything massive or anything like that, but it was a good week for me, and I'm going to carry that momentum into this week. No cut event. I do think the field is a little bit larger though, so that's going to be fairly nice. I think we can get ourselves a nice edge this week. So if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us keep this free each and every week. We do have a new promo right now. We got RPS NBA 15. Now, Hoop, I'm going to kick it back to you real quick because we are right before the NFL season, we brought back, we had a nice promo going. It was a 15% discount for life. The funny thing is we kept extending it. People, we kept extending it longer. Oh, we'll go 5 more days. We'll go 5 more days. We got like 10 days max on this, right? I mean, Hoop, talk to us a little bit about the promo that we're running.
So yeah, obviously we always like to give people a chance to try out our product for a discounted rate out of the gate, and that's kind of what you're going to get here. You and I were talking this morning, and we're both pumped for NBA and some of the additions we have here in terms of the content. So you and I got together and we said, you know what, it's time to offer up a little discount to the people. So it's going to be the same thing basically as we launched before NFL. So if you use that promo code RPS NBA 15. It's going to get you 15% off for life on a monthly package. And the only stipulation is you just can't cancel. So if you don't cancel, you'll get that 15% off month after month after month. And we'll just continue to print that money month after month after month. NBA, probably our strongest sport as a team in terms of the content that we offer, in terms of the names, in terms of the success that our coordinators have had in the sport. So we're excited for it. We got this offer, and yeah, it's probably going to go, NBA starts Tuesday, so we'll probably run it through Friday. So maybe, the next 10 days. It's going to be the cheapest price you can get in, all in too. We talked about all these other sites where they charge per sport, NBA starting next week, and they're going to charge you another $300, $400, $500, whatever it may be. Our price remains the same regardless. If there's 4 main sports going on, 2 main sports, 1 main sport, same price for everything. And honestly, in terms of bang for your buck, if you've kind of been waiting to join the movement here at Ron Pierce Sports, this is the best time because we got NBA going full swing starting next week. NFL obviously going in full swing. NFL Showdown's going in full swing. PGA, the events are going to start getting better and better the further along we go here. MMA, NASCAR, I mean, everything that DraftKings offers, we have content for. It's the best price you're going to get around the industry. RPS NBA 15. Join the movement.
Very good. I don't think I could say it any better. Outside of, I know we have a very aggressive content schedule when it comes to NBA, and it's something that we really pride ourselves on. And personally, I feel the first 2 to 3 months in NBA season are definitely the most plus EV, most profitable, at least for me. We dial in the rotations. We know the strategy. Many are still focused on NFL. We're still doing that too, but gosh, the edge is really nice in NBA. So
yeah, we're still trying to finalize the show content, but the thing that we're aiming for is to potentially be live from 3 p.m. Eastern all the way up to lock. And obviously our up to lock show is a premium show, but the 3 p.m. Eastern show will be free on YouTube. And then our normal free show from like 4:45 to 6-ish Eastern will be free. So 2 to 3 or 3 hours of free show. And then our premium show going right up to lock. So we'll have you covered for essentially 4 straight hours.
Yeah, very good. All right, boys, we're at the Summit Club this week. We are at the CJ Cup, I believe. And I personally kind of like how they do it now. If you due to COVID, they got to keep everything in the States. And so it used to be they would go overseas and you get these events and it's like, oh, the coverage was pretty tough. But man, the coverage is not bad for these events. So I kind of hope they keep it here. We'll see. But this week we get a new course, not a new course to Morikawa, which we'll talk about a little bit more. But it's a Summit Club. There's 7,400 yards. It's not going to play 7,400 yards at all. Par 72. When I looked at it, this looks like a very forgiving course. It looks like, I'm sure, like a lot, it's in Vegas. I'm sure, Snyder, I'll kick it to you, but I'm sure like tourists come out there and play it. Like I could go play it if I wanted to. Like, I'm sure it's pricey, but man, the fairways look very forgiving. Like I think it's going to be an absolute birdie fest. Where the winner is going to be minus 20 at least. Maybe 24 under, 25 under. At least that's my initial thought. Snyder, talk to us a little bit about the course this week.
Yeah, the CJ Cup stays here in Vegas for a second straight year. They're at a different Tom Fazio course this year. Last year it was at Shadow Creek, which is a high-end Tom Fazio course. This is a newer Fazio design here. I think it's only been here for 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it's going to play at par 72, 7,400 yards. The elevation will make it much shorter than that. I do expect the winning score to be in the mid to high 20s here, as they should be able to destroy this place. I think the greens here are going to be bigger than tour average, so it should improve on guys around the green play and stuff. The fairways here will be slightly wider than tour average as well. All 5 of these par 5s are going to be right around that 550 to 600 range, which should be reachable for all these guys, most of these guys in 2. 3 of the 4 par 4s are going to play under 380 yards. So depending on where they put the tee placement, I mean, some of these par 4s are going to be drivable for sure. Some key stats that I'll be looking at for this week is approach, birdies are better percentage off the tee, putting with an emphasis on bent grass, and opportunities gained.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm looking at this. I think right out of the gate, if you're starting on the front, you're going to see some low scores. I mean, the drivable par 4 right out of the gate. You got, like you said, number 5, 360-yard par 4. You got 130-yard par 3. Really, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. There's not a lot of defense here unless we get some wind, which we saw last week. It really impacted scores. I believe I think it was Friday afternoon, but we'll see. We'll dive in. So if you're new with us, how we do it each and every week, we go tier by tier. We're going to break it down. We're going to find what we feel are the best plays. We're going to talk about some fades, and the ultimate goal is just to find the winners. So let's do that. Hoop, I'm going to start with you. Let's start with that 10K and up range.
The 10K and up range looks a little different this week than it has the past few weeks, obviously, because we have a much stronger field and some of the more regular names that we're accustomed to seeing up here. Dustin Johnson, coming off that phenomenal play at the Ryder Cup, is the most expensive guy at 11.3. It's been a while since DJ's been up at the top of the pricing spectrum, but his play at the Ryder Cup was phenomenal. He probably played the best out of anyone there. Got all, I think, 5 points or whatever the most you can get is. I believe it's 5. He's a momentum guy, and he typically, once he starts playing well, he plays very well, and this is a course that he should crush. Justin Thomas, 11-1. Morikawa has the home course advantage, like we talked about. Xander Schauffele, always a guy that we love at no-cut events. And then Jordan Spieth, 10-3, kind of fell off a little bit towards the end of last season. I don't have a strong take on him. And then Rory McIlroy at 10-1. It's just amazing to me that they continue to price Rory up here with these elite golfers. I mean, Rory is no longer an elite golfer, and he continues to be priced as if he is. So let me just go back to the top. Dustin Johnson at 11-3, like I said, a momentum guy, a guy that once he starts playing well, he kind of builds on it and competes. Not sure what the ownership is on him. I'm guessing a lot of people go balance this week like they typically do in these no-cut events. There's a lot of guys in the mid-range. Dustin Johnson at 11-3 stands out as a strong play to me. JT at 11-1, and I don't know. I typically don't like to play JT when he gets priced way up here. The putting is just, man, it's so painful to pay the full Monty for Justin Thomas and watch him miss those putts. Probably won't be on him. I'm going to play the Morikawa narrative, though, at 10-8. He knows this course very well. Obviously, it's going to set up a little differently, being a PGA event, but he was one of the best golfers on tour, obviously, last year, and definitely will be on him. Got Xander at 10-6, a guy that just does very well in no-cut events. He'll always, even if he starts out slow, he always slides in with a nice big performance at some point to bring himself into contention. I'll be on him at 10-6. Probably won't be on Spieth this week, like I said, at 10-3. Played really well, and then kind of fell off a little bit there at the end last season. So for me, Spieth will likely be a fade, and I can't imagine playing Rory McIlroy over any of these guys in this range. He's just not an elite golfer anymore. The sites continue to price him as if he is. He's dusty, man. I mean, honestly, to me, this could be an overreach in terms of the statement, but he's going to be reaching Ricky Fowler status here at some point this season. So no thanks on Rory, but it's a loaded 10K range. I like about three of these dudes, and I'll probably fade the rest.
What's so crazy is, so like I got my process, I'm pulling it up, I'm looking at these certain stats, just, basic stuff, this week, driving distance, ball striking, opportunities gained, birdie and better, and different things. I don't know how. I don't know if it's like one thing we can't see at some of the sites that we get our research from. Like this has to be an error. Like Rory is actually popping in these models, and I'm like, I watch him every week. We watch him. I'm like, I don't know how he's grading out so well in some of these.
I mean, I think I know. I mean, honestly, he'll come out. I mean, it's very clear. I mean, obviously he had the one win at the Wells Fargo last year, but he'll come out and he'll suck in round one. He'll be terrible. He'll play himself out of contention. Then he fires a super low round to tease you a little bit, and he gets in that top 20, top 10 range. And that's it. Like, so the stats are going to look great for those rounds, but he's never doing it while he's in contention. If he does happen to come out and get himself into contention, he'll play himself right out of it. I mean, it's just the stats with Rory to me are just so fluky. I'm just going to apply the eye test. When he gets close to the lead, he falls apart. When he's playing from way, way behind, he'll fire these low rounds, and it's never enough because you're paying the full price tag for him. So for me, I know. I mean, I listen to a lot of different things in terms of PGA, and everyone, the stats look great for Rory. Stats look great for Rory. That's fine if they look great, but they don't come into play when he really needs it.
There's two guys this week that feel like total traps. One of them is my guy, Justin Thomas. I'm showing 20% ownership projections on him at 11.1K. He didn't play very good, in my opinion, at the Ryder Cup. I mean, he was kind of carried by his teammates. Like he did okay. Like he got by at it, but he wasn't playing like Dustin Johnson. Like he wasn't playing like Morikawa. Like Morikawa was playing phenomenal. Brooks Koepka, he got it going. So we're gonna have some really interesting fades in this section for sure this week. Snyder, I'm gonna kick it back over to you. 10K and up. What are you doing with this range?
I'm mainly targeting two guys in this range, and that's it. But I think DJ is a little priced too high. I mean, he's right at the top of the leaderboard again. I'm not sure how he got up there. He did play pretty good at the Ryder Cup, but I think I'll be off of him. Justin Thomas, he's a fine target, I think. I mean, I could see a reasoning for it, but I'm just not going to play him. I mean, he played fine, like you said, at the Ryder Cup, but definitely isn't showing that upside for that price tag at the moment. But a guy that is off of a great Ryder Cup. Him and DJ won all three of their matches. He had the singles match against Hovland, best ball striker on tour. Comes to a familiar golf course here as he's a member here and spends quite a bit of time here from everything I've heard. It's his home course. Plays here almost daily when he's not on tour, playing in another event. So I like that for sure. He's just he did have a win in that short no-cut field at that WGC earlier this year. So he's definitely my favorite spend-up option this week, as no surprise to many. Another guy, it's another Vegas guy right below him, Xander Schauffele. He's another one of my favorite guys. He excels in these no-cut events. I've heard stories of him playing in some big side games here with Mickelson and some other guys, and he just rakes everyone in those. So definitely like him on familiar grounds. Puts well on bent grass as well, too. These bigger greens should really help benefit his recent around the green struggles, I think, too. So I like that. Like most Americans, he also had a solid Ryder Cup appearance, scored 3 points in his 4 matches, got second at the CJ Cup last year here. It wasn't here at this course, but at Shadow Ridge, which is another familiar Fazio design, like I said earlier. So I like that as well. So I'll mainly be looking to get overweight on Morikawa and Xander. I couldn't imagine clicking Spieth, or like Hoop said, I couldn't imagine clicking that Rory McIlroy price tag there. I mean,
you had me scared, man. Anytime I come on here and just bash Rory, you follow right up and you stroke him. So I'm happy that we're on the same page.
Yeah, unless Rory's playing at Quail Hollow, I don't anticipate ever playing him until he gets there. So I'm gonna wait until we get back. Yeah. And then we'll click the name when he's down to like 8.5K again and 25-1 odds to win, and we'll ship that. So mainly just Morikawa and Alexander for me here.
Yeah, I think this range is pretty easy. So Jordan Spieth, we don't want to play him this week. He had his big charity event last week, the Spieth Foundation, where he brings in, he has a concert, they play some golf, all his big, donors and all that. They all had a really good time. And so the other thing too is he's got his wife is pregnant. He's got that baby narrative coming up, and I know she's coming along. I feel like what we're seeing, because we did see him taper off. I feel like what we're seeing is just he's got other things going on in life right now. I don't think he's probably out there grinding as hard as these other guys are. Now, that doesn't say he's not trying. I bet he still is. I'm just saying any little distraction at this level of golf, you're going to see it in a player's game. I think that is what we're seeing in Spieth's game. Like, the form is there. I mean, he second at the Open, like he got a win last year, but then 73rd at the Northern Trust, 34th at the BMW, 20th, which was a no-cut event in a small field, at the Tour Championship. So obviously his game fell back a little bit, and he didn't look very good at the Ryder Cup at all, in my opinion. So it would make sense if he has other distractions going on. Easy fade from me. Rory, we're not playing him. I'm fading Justin Thomas. I think the price is a little bit too much. The putter isn't there. I think this is going to be a putting contest this week. Like Hoop, you said it best. I will be so tilted watching this guy miss 7, 8, 9 footers. I don't want to deal with that this week at all. Fading him. Morikawa, Xander, both love them. Going to be overweight. Dustin Johnson, he's going to make my pool too. This guy, like Hoop said, momentum guy. We saw it at the BMW T6, followed up with an 8th at the Tour Championship, and then destroyed everyone at the Ryder Cup. I mean, this dude looked so good. So those are the 3 guys I'm on, but I'm going to have the most shares of your boy, Snyder, Colin Morikawa. So, I like to see that. I think we're all kind of locked arm in arm in that range, and that's going to be good to see. Snyder, let me have you kick off this 9K range. Talk to us about what you're doing here.
We got Victor Hovland priced up there at the top. The short game of his scares me, though, and he's got that high price tag, so I think I'll be off him. I think he's still going to get generally pretty good ownership here. He's lost strokes putting in his last 5 events, and he's averaging nearly -3 strokes around the green over his last 5 events, so that's definitely worrisome for me. Sammy Burns, he's riding quite the incredible heater right now, but it'll be interesting to see how he plays in this more loaded field with that high of a price tag, so he's a fade for me. Brooks Koepka, that's an interesting one here. It comes down to that motivation factor with BK here, is he just kind of mailed it in last weekend. He was at the Fury fight with Jenna.
Yeah.
He had other things going on, I think.
I wish I would have seen that. I mean, this dude was definitely checked out. They were
surprised
he
made the cut there Friday. I mean, he made a pretty good push to make the cut Friday, which I was pretty surprised.
Did you see the pictures she posted of them too? Like into the Fury fight, like he was just like, one of these, like the way he had his glass, he was just like, oh, and I had him. I had a share of him. I got back on him. Oh, it was rough.
It'll be interesting to see his motivation factor this week. I mean, this is a bigger event. It's got nearly a $10 million price pool. It's more loaded with talent, so I think that could get him up here possibly. I think he makes for a solid GPP option here. Finau, after a rough stretch during that summer, Finau is trending back up with 3 straight top 15s and a win at the Northern Trust. He's gained strokes approach in his last 3 events, and after losing strokes in his previous 4 events. So I think he's trending back upwards. Solid for GPPs, I think. I'm not sure quite if I'm going to get there yet or not, but Sung Jae Im's coming off that win last week at the Shriners. I don't typically like the previous week's winners, so I'll probably be off of him here. And Louis Oosthuizen, he's playing some really good golf. I mean, his recent success dating back to the past 2, 3, 4 months has been really solid. I mean, I'm not the biggest Usti guy, but I think I'm going to have some serious consideration for him here. I mean, if you wanted to poke a hole in him or something, I mean, you could say he's lost strokes putting in his last 3 events, but all around the game's been solid for him. So I think he's definitely in play. I'm looking to jump back on either one of Answer or Scheffler. They both missed the cut last week. I'm leaning towards jumping on Answer again. He's been really solid. I mean, he's only missed last week was his second missed cut in his last 15 events, and he bounced back with the top 5 finish in the last time he missed a cut. So I think I'm going to be jumping back on Answer here, and that's pretty much it for me in this 9K range.
Yeah, very good. A lot of things I agree with for sure. Hoop, talk to us about what you are doing with this 9K range.
Yeah, a lot of the same, I think, as Snyder. I'll actually start at the bottom because, I want to back one of these guys that missed the cut and Answer and Scheffler, and it's not going to be Answer, man. That was bad last week. Like, I don't know if he just like gave up because he knew he needed to shoot like 8 under to make the cut, but he shot like 71 and then 73, and that was that was an easy course. I mean, guys were shooting really low. Maybe he does bounce back. I'm not going there. I will go to Scheffler, though. No cut event here. I think he's a guy that his game sets up well for this sort of event, a guy that can rack up birdies, eagles. So I'm going to be on Scheffler, not Answer. Definitely not going to Cam Smith. He kind of stands out to me as a guy that doesn't belong in this range. Louis is a guy I've not decided on. I'm curious to see what you say on Usti AP. I mean, I don't play him a ton. I can see why you would play him here. He's just been super steady. So curious to get your take on him. Matsuyama, haven't really been playing him, and it really hasn't burned me all that much. I'll stay off of him. Sung Jae at 9.5. Yeah, I'm with Snyder on this too. Like, I typically don't go to guys after a win, and that was a big win for him. I'll fade him here. My boy Tony, man, he's back. Tony Finau, 9.6. I'm going to be all over him this week. Again, I think this sort of format fits him really well. You don't have to worry about the miscut. He can fire low rounds. Perfect scenario. Brooks, I mean, I think good GPP play. I mean, if you're a Brooks guy, like, I think he is a guy to get in your line. He's not going to be highly owned. People will be off him. I personally won't be going there. It's all about the motivation. Like you guys said, I mean, he's a guy that does not hide his emotions very well. You know when he's in it and you know when he's not in it mentally. And it's tilting to roster him and see when he's not in it mentally. So I'll be fading him. I'll be fading Burns. And then Hovland, I'm not a person that really cares about ownership all that much. Hovland is pretty expensive here at 9.9. If I can get exposure to him, if I can get over the field with a low ownership number, I'll be on him. But if I have to play him at like 25 or 30%, I'll probably fade him.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so for me, like, let me start with Sam Burns. I faded him last week coming off that win. He looked really good, like, where I was just like, gosh, he's going to win this again. He didn't. It's hard to win back-to-back. Unless you're Tiger Woods, you're not really doing that. He's been still one of the only golfers to consistently do that time and time again. So with Burns, I think so. Originally, I added him to the playbook. It's not out yet, but I added him. But honestly, I might just remove him. Hoop, like what you said when I think before we started the show, like I faded him last week, and now we have a much better field, way better of the field.
Yeah.
If I faded him last week in a shitty field, why the hell am I playing him at an elevated price tag in a loaded field? I think that would be a huge mistake. He's projected to be 18 to 22% off. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, really? That's that high? Yeah, to me, that's a good time to be off.
And we're Sammy Burns guys, but Hoop, like you said it best, like, this field is loaded, and he's been dusting these shitty fields, and I think it's a really nice time to get off. So I'm going to be off of him. Tony Finau, I'm glad we are all locked arm in arm on that. He was also at the Furry fight. So what that tells me, he got to Vegas early, got his stuff done. I bet he got a few rounds at this course. Probably hit up Morikawa, had a good time at the fight. Now it's time for business. So I love how he played at the Ryder Cup. I love Finau this week. Big fairways. He's going to pull driver, and we all know he can score. So I absolutely love him. I'm going to be off Sung Jae. A loaded field. He won last week. I think it's easy fade. Not playing Matsuyama. We just said it's going to be a putting contest, a birdie fest. He sucks at putting. Not playing Cam Smith. So like Louis. man, this guy, when you look at it, his putter's been bad. He's lost strokes over his last 30 rounds. One thing I look at is a player's last 50 like their last 50 rounds, like the rolling rounds, and it just shows cumulative, like what they're up. He's still up 31 strokes putting on the field. So this dude, when he gets it going, he can be an absolute machine. Every other part of his game right now is clicking too. So I think I'm going to have a piece of him. I don't think I'm going to go like crazy overweight, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that I fade. But
who was that? Who's that again?
Oosthuizen.
Okay,
yeah. I'm not going to go really overweight. I'm not going to go underweight. I just think I don't want him to kill me. I think honestly, I think he ends up top 15. Like he might not even be like in optimal builds. I mean, but he could absolutely be there, in these big events when it's big names. Seems like he's always there. So I'm going to have shares of him. I'm not going to go crazy overweight or anything, but I got to say, like, I'm kind of torn on this range. I'll have a little bit of interest in Scheffler. I think, we talk about it all the time, flop lag, perfect spot for him, a guy that can rack up birdies. I think he typically struggles finding fairways at time. That's not going to be an issue here at all. All these guys are going to find fairways, and he's a guy that can score. So I got to say Tony Finau is my favorite in this range. I think I got to go. It's close. I'm going to say Brooks Koepka too, but I'm really torn between him and Usti and Scheffler. So Snyder, what was your 1 and 2 in this range?
I'm going to go for my 1. It will be, I think I'm going to go, man, it's tough here. I think I'm going to go Finau, like GPP wise, and then Oosthuizen in number 2.
I like that. Hoop, your 1 and 2, then take us down into the 8K range.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tony Finau, and then Scheffler will be number 2 for me. The 8K range, man, I come down here and there's a lot of guys that I'm going to be fading in this range. There's not much that stands out. Harris English, I'm still on the fence. I mean, definitely high on Harris English long term. I think he had a great season last year. We'll see. I'll probably play him at 8-9. Fleetwood, no. Webb Simpson, no. I could be talked into him. If you guys have a strong take on him, maybe I changed my mind, but as of now, it's a no. Leishman, no. Kokrak, a little bit. I think he can come in low owned. I don't think you're going to have to play a ton of Kokrak to get over the field, and I do kind of like him in no-cut events. Hatton at 8-4, I'll probably fade him. Lowry, going to fade him. Paul Casey, I love freaking Paul Casey, and I was off him, and then I got on him late last week, and he hurt my feelings. I'm a sucker for him though, so I'll probably play some Paul Casey. Adam Scott, I'll probably fade, and Patrick Reed. I mean, man, he was terrible last week. I mean, I played him. He was a disaster, and we haven't seen him play good golf in a while. So I'm willing to sit it out on Patrick Reed and have him prove it to me this week. If he owns me, I'll be fine with that. But I'm not going to play Patrick Reed after what I saw last week. But overall, like I said, I don't really love this range of it.
Did you comment about Adam Scott?
Scott, yeah. I mean, it's just I typically don't play Adam Scott,
right?
So I am. It's cheap, 8-1. What he did all right last week, right? Made the cut, 35th. I could be talked into him, I guess.
All right. I mean, I don't know if I'll try to talk you into it. I'm still torn on him, but it's not. Maybe Snyder can talk us into some Adam Scott. Snyder, what are you doing with this 8K range?
For this 8K range, I like a few of these guys, but like Hoop, I'm gonna be off of the majority of these guys. I don't mind Mark Leishman. He gained strokes across the board last week en route to his second straight top 5 finish. So he's kind of riding the hot putter, but he's got some good momentum rolling into this. Another guy is Jason Kokrak. He missed that cut last week. I think a lot of people are going to be off of him here. He did win the CJ Cup here last year. I mean, it wasn't at this track, like I said, but he did win an event here on a Fazio design here in Vegas. So I think he's got some upside for what should be lower ownership, I think. Terrell Hatton, I have interest in Terrell Hatton here. He's off a second place finish at that Alfred Dunhill Links a couple weeks ago overseas. Finished third at this CJ Cup event last year at that other Shadow Creek, but I think he's a guy that's a little under the radar. I haven't heard his name much this weekend, so I like him. Shane Lowry, he just continues his really strong, solid iron play recently. He finished fourth at that Alfred Dunhill Links here a couple weeks ago overseas. Just been playing some really great, consistent golf as of the last, recent history. I think I'm kind of out on Paul Casey. He just isn't in the best of recent form, and so I think he's going to get ownership like he always does. So that's just an easy fade for me in this range, I think. But I'm off of Webb. I'm off Fleetwood. There's some drama I heard about Harris English rolling into that Ryder Cup event with his putter. He's had that same putter grip for I think he said 15 years or something. It's all frayed and everything. And there was some controversy over whether it was too worn down or something with that Ryder Cup. I'm not sure whatever happened with that, but I think he had to change putters that week or something. I need to look more into that, but I just heard something about that here over the week. So need to dig in more onto that. Adam Scott, I'm not playing him in this loaded field, I don't think. Maybe if he was in the low 7Ks or mid 7Ks, I would. Off Patrick Reed as well. He was really bad last week, so I'll be off him again this week. So it's just mainly my top guys in this range is going to be Terrell Hatton and Shane Lowry with some sprinkles of Leishman and Kokrak.
Yeah, just to add on to the Lowry thing, I just pulled up DraftKings. Lowry's 28-1 to win this. Way better odds than anyone in this range. By most of these guys are 40, 50. He's 28-1. It's kind of surprising.
I like it. No, I mean, this range is really, I mean, what are they doing with Tommy Fleetwood? Come on, no one's going to play him. You're not fooling anyone. Make him 7K. He deserves to be 7K. That might be a little high too. Put him down there with where Matt Kuchar's been. This guy
down there with Ricky.
I might take Ricky over him this week. I mean, Tommy Fleetwood versus
where is Ricky?
Talk about dust versus dust. Holy man.
6.4K. Ooh, man.
I mean, easy fade.
Playing for 6K is the question.
Man, he's really bad. I know people were joking about Corn Ferry Tour and all that. I mean, that has to be relatively. I mean, I know he'd never do it, but his skill set right now is. I mean, he'd get beat up on the Corn Ferry.
Yeah, I think he has a few exemptions left to save him, so hopefully he can get it figured out. But Webb, I'm not playing. I played Webb last week, and the guy, something's wrong with this game. He's just something's wrong. Eye test, as we talk about. Mark Leishman, though, this T4, T3 look good. His putter's hot. I'm gonna play Mark Leishman. Jason Kokrak. I know he plays out at Shadow. Is it Shadow Creek, Snyder? Yeah. Or Shadow Creek? Yeah. Where he won last year. I know he plays there all the time, knows that course really well. I think that is one of the best comp courses to this one. And he's going to pound these fairways. His approach game is very good. He makes a ton of birdies. I'm going to be very overweight on Kokrak. I'm going to be very overweight on Leishman, fading Fleetwood, Webb. Shane Lowry, you just talked me into him. He wasn't on my radar at all. I was looking at Scott. I'm on Lowry now. I don't normally play Scott. I need a guy from this range, just to kind of, mend some of these builds. And I don't want to play Paul Casey because this guy can't putt at all. And this is going to be a birdie fest. He if it was a scramble event and if he had someone that he could, be there to be his putter, I'd play him. But that's not what this event is at all. So I don't know. All right. One of the things though, in multi-entry formats, when you look at this pricing, Paul Casey can have some of those weeks. I mean, the WGC T5, I don't know if I can full fade him. I'm not going to be heavy on him. I think what happens is he ends up in my pool. I'm still going to narrow my pool down, but he is a guy that can kill you. And I think a lot of people are going to be off of him despite the low price tag. I'm showing an 8% ownership projection on him. So I might have a little bit of him, but I do like Lowry a little bit more. Outside of that, this range is not one that I really like too much. I'm going to stick with Leishman. I'm going to stick with Kokrak as kind of my my favorite too. And you know, it could switch to Lowry, but I'm going to stick with that right now. So, Hoop, what was your 1 and 2 kind of in this range, or just one?
Yeah, don't really love much, as I said. I mean, I think Snyder kind of talked me onto Lowry a little bit, and then seeing the odds 28-1, and he's been really good. I mean, you pull up. I mean, it doesn't matter Euro 2 or here. He's been solid. So him one. English maybe 2. Not not super convincing.
Snyder, you're 1 and 2, or just one, and then take us into the 7K range.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Lowry 1, and then I think I'm gonna go with Hatton 2. And for the 7K range, I've got quite a bit of conviction on a few guys in here. I'll just start off with my main guy, Mav McNeely. He burned us last week. He was still good off the tee and approach, but that trusty putter let him down last week. He lost over 2 strokes putting. I expect the Vegas resident to bounce back well here this week. He should come in, I think, lower ownership than what he should had he done well last week. So I like him. Max Homa, he won that Fortinet about a month ago. He's been a great iron player. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to him or not, depending on ownership wise. He's been good with the approach over his last 20 events. Joaquin Neiman, I can get on board with this price tag on Neiman. I haven't been playing him when he's been priced in that 8K range, but because I know he doesn't have that much win equity, so I don't like paying that high of a price tag for him. But when he's down in this 7K range, he can make a lot of birdies, and that's what you need in these no-cut events. So I have some conviction on Neiman this week. Another big birdie maker is Aaron Wise. I've been on him quite recently in these last 4 to 5 events. He's done well. He's finished inside the top 26 in his last 4. He's been making lots of birdies. He ranks 9th in this field in DraftKings points over the last 24 rounds. So that's positive for him in this range, in this type of event. Charlie Hoffman's a solid option down here, I think. He's been known for playing in some of these big money games out here in Vegas, so I can get on board with him in this range. Taylor Gooch, he looks like another solid option down here. He finished 11th last week at the Shriners and 4th at that Fortinet. Strong iron player. The short game's been well for him, so I like him at the bottom of this range. And then Cam Tringali, I'm kind of surprised he's priced all the way down here, but he did struggle a little around the green last week, lost over 3 strokes there, but he was solid putting again, and I expect that around the green game to be much better, as he did gain in that stat in his previous 4 events before last week. So I like him down here. And that's pretty much it for me in this 7K range. I'm going to be most overweight on McNeely, probably Wise, and Gooch and Tringali.
Yeah, the thing I love about your boy Mav is he missed the cut last week. So, if he would have had a decent performance last week, he would have been mega chunk. And he was like 79, 8K last week, something like that.
Yeah,
so
it gets a little price decrease this week too.
Yeah, I'm blocked arm in arm with Snyder. We may battle in the NFL streets between Mahomes and Lamar, but we are locked arm in arm when it comes to PGA this week. So I'd love to see it. Hoop, 7K range. What are you doing here?
I mean, we're going 3 for 3, boys, on the arm. I mean, we're lined up, do-si doing, whatever you want to call it, because I mean, Snyder, what he said in the 7K range is exactly what I was going to say in the 7K range. Definitely like these guys at the bottom more than the top. The one guy at the top of the 7K range that stands out is Max Homa at 7.7. I have some interest in him. But then you come down here under 7.4, Neiman. Has turned into a guy, like Snyder said, like I don't like paying a premium for him, but if I can get him cheap, especially in a no-cut event, I'm in. In 7.4K, he's a guy that can get hot, rack up a lot of birdies. Aaron Wise, similar to Sam Burns, he's been hot. I mean, not as hot as Sam Burns, but he's been playing his best golf probably of his career the last couple weeks. Big step up in competition here, but his game has looked great. Sam Burns is 9.8K and Aaron Wise is 7.4K. I'm not paying the 9.8 for Burns. I'll pay the 7.4 for Wise, but two of the guys that have impressed the most, I think, so far this season, McNeely. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he missed the cut last week makes me like him even more. 7.3. A guy that we typically like, and he treats us well. He's going to do it again this week. Gooch. Love Gooch. I've been riding Hoffman for a while. I mean, these guys down here to me are just better. I mean, I would prefer them straight up over a lot of those guys in the 8K range that we talked about. I'm always on Tringali. I mean, 7K for Tringali. Like I would honestly pay like in the 8s for him this week and feel okay about it. Somewhat biased because I like this guy and I play him a ton, but 7K for Tringali is just, I mean, that's just a beautiful thing there. So yeah, love this range. Like I said, it's all the same guy Snyder likes. I'm right in lockstep with him.
Yeah, I'm about the same. I'm targeting good putters here. Cameron Tringali, like you said, he's gained over his last 50 rounds. The rolling stroke gains that I talked about, he's over 30.8 strokes over his last 50 rounds. Alex Noren, 35.8 strokes gained putting over his last 58 rounds. A rolling number. Mav McNeely, he's up there too, 10.5. Varner, he's actually up there too. His putter is trending hot, 16.3. Like that's a really good number, and his results have been decent. He's got the baby narrative going with him too. One guy that you guys didn't mention that you might make fun of me for playing, but I would play him over some of these other guys. His main problem has been like getting off the tee, finding fairways. When he gets into the fairway, if you just look at the holes where he gets into the fairway, he's been good. His putter, like his putting, is one of the most improved parts of his game. He got 10th at the Wyndham. He started like he was terrible last year, but then he started to show some signs of improvements. Justin Rose, no one's going to play him. He's going to be, and I know he's a dust ball right now. I'm going to have a little bit of shares of him. I'm not going to go crazy. I think he's a good MME play. I'm going to have right around 10 to 15%, which is going to be very overweight. I show him coming in right around 2 to 4, maybe 5% max. I just think that if he gets that putter rolling, I think he's going to be able to make some birdies this week. But I'm with you guys. I'm going to, when it comes to my favorite play, I mean, gosh, I think Mav is one of the best tournament plays ever. He's going to be much lower owned than what he should be. Gooch, I think he's right up there. I think Russell Henley's up there. But if I got to talk about my top two plays, I'm going Mav and I'm going Tringali. I just think these guys have really good upside, really good putters. They can make birdies. Now the only thing is like it's we're used to playing them in worse fields. The field is much stronger this week, but their form is good. So I'm willing to overlook it because we're getting a price discount on them this week. So that's going to be my 1 and 2. And then my GPP play is I'll take a shot on Justin Rose, which you could almost put him in that Ricky category, that Rory category, probably past his prime. I'm going to take a shot on him here though this week. Snyder, what was your 1 and 2?
Yeah, I'm right with you guys. I'm going to go Mav 1 and Tringali 2. I think that's just way too good of a price tag on Tringali down here. I expect that around the green game to really bounce back this week, like I said, and I don't think it's going to matter as much either with these larger greens than normal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more we're with you. I feel like it's back in high school. I'm looking over there at Snyder, trying to copy off his work. I'm fine with it though. He's going to find us the winners though. I like it. Hoop, you're 1 and 2 that take us into the 6K range.
Yeah, it's tough because I like a lot of these guys. I'll go Tringali 1 and Wise number 2. But I mean, 4 or 5 of these guys down here, like my favorite overall plays on the slate. In the 6K range, it's a no-cut event, so I will be down here, but I don't think I'm going to be down here as much as I typically am in no-cut events. Keegan Bradley, I think is interesting in a no-cut event, 6.9K. Patton Kazire is somewhat interesting at 6.6K. What did he do last week? Did he suck? It looks like he's only made one cut. Back-to-back missed cuts. Yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer. Cam Davis, I do like quite a bit at 6'4". Chris Kirk at 6'4", I think, is an interesting play. Our boy Vegas at 6'3". I like Vegas in Vegas for 6.3K. You could sign me up for a little bit of that. Carlos Ortiz at 6'2". I mean, he's a guy that can make some birdies. It's a cheap price tag. I like him a little bit. Harry Higgs played pretty well last week, finished 27th. He's 6.1K. No cut event. I'll probably play a little bit of him. Man, there's some. What do we got? Lucas Glover, 6K. Maybe. Swafford, 6K. Maybe. I'll have a lot of exposure to some people down here, but like I said, I don't love it as much as I normally do. Vegas is probably my favorite down here. I like Cam Davis, maybe a little bit of Brian Harmon at 6'6". Long story short, I'll probably play 7 or 8 of these guys in my full 150 teams.
Yeah, it's tough down here for sure. I do think Johnny Vegas is mispriced. I think he's going to be the most popular guy on this course. He's going to be able to reach these par fours, many of them. I mean, Vegas smashes the ball. He ranks second in overall in driving distance in this field. So I think it would be a mistake to avoid him this week. Snyder, 6K range. What are you doing down here?
Yeah, I like Johnny Vegas probably the most here. He's third in ball striking over the last 24 rounds. He ranks 12th in DraftKings points over these last 24 rounds. He's gained strokes on approach in his last 7 events. So I think he sticks out to me as the best play in this range, only at 6.3K also. Brendan Grace, he's off a couple solid finishes overseas. 27th at the Alfred Dunhill, 12th at the Dutch Open. Solid birdie maker down here in this mid 6Ks. Brian Harmon, he missed the cut last week. I thought he was going to break through last week, but I still think for his talent level, it's pretty solid for this price tag. So I have some interest in him. Kevin Kisner, I have a little conviction on him as well. I think he's a solid punt play down here. I think he's been known for playing in some of these side games out here in Vegas too. So he could be an interesting punt play down here. But yeah, like Lucas Glover at 6K min, I could be talked into playing some of him. He's been all right. The irons have been all right for him. I mean, he's just been struggling with the short game recently. That's about it. I mean, KH Lee, I kind of like playing him in no cut events because he has that birdie upside. He can go on those streaks and shoot like low 60s a couple times and rack up some DraftKings points. But I'll be leaning on AP like I usually do down here in this 6K range.
Did either of you guys mention Cam Davis, 6.4K?
Oh, yeah. Hoop did.
Yeah. I mean, I
like
think he's
Davis,
him and Johnny Vegas are just underpriced here. Both phenomenal plays. I mean, it's tough down in this range this week. Like there's not a lot I like. I'll have bits and pieces of some of these guys because all the guys I like are up top, and you're going to need some punts down here. Ian Poulter. So like my theme is good putters. Ian Poulter's not a long driver of the ball, but I don't think that's going to be a huge issue here. He's going to find fairways, and if he can get on the green and get some looks, I think he's a guy that can make some birdies. Gary Woodland, never playing him. Something's wrong with his game. He's been a disaster. Like if you want to prop bet Gary Woodland versus Ricky Fowler, that would be a tough one to figure out which way you want to go. I mean, both guys are just terrible right now. I think you keep it pretty simple this week down here. I got one off the wall play. I think our guy Big T will like it. This dude was in the Corn Ferry Tour Championship. It finished 20th. His ball striking looked good at it. But Benny Hahn. So like,
is this the Notebook?
No, I can't do that. The Notebook's tough because it's like I try not like I don't want it to be like a popular guy, but I can't. Again, I'm kind of like you guys. Like I don't like ownership isn't going to dictate any of my decisions. Like some of these players are chalk for a reason, but what happens? We saw it in NFL this week with Alexander Madison. He should have been close to like 100% owned. He wasn't. He wasn't at all. And the lower down you went, the lower his ownership got down. So ownership I can overlook if he's just that good of a play. I think Johnny Vegas is that. He's going to be able to drive multiple of these par fours. I think he's going to be the chalkiest guy in this range, but I think he's by far the best play. His game has been good. He's been trending in the right direction. And for me, it's more about the scoring. A 6,300 guy, all I need him to do is give himself chances to make eagles, which is exactly what Vegas can do. I don't care if he finishes 30th. Like if he finishes 30th or better, I think he has a really good chance of being in the optimal lineup because of his ego upside at a course like this. So Johnny Vegas is going to be my notebook play of the week. It's not some crazy play. I think Cam Davis is right up there too. Absolutely smashes the ball. If you want an outside the box play, much like the Justin Rose, don't get a lot of them, but I'm going to have a little bit of Benny on. He's a guy that, on these easy tracks, we've seen it in the past. He can get going, maybe gets inspired by his boy Sung J.M. winning last week. Sometimes you see that happening. Again, he's going to be 1% owned. I'm going to have my lowest ownership. I typically go is right around 7. I'm going to have him. He's going to be one of my 7% guys. So not going to be high at all, but he'll be kind of an anchor off of like a Vegas or Davis build. But honestly, in this range, it's just, God, I'm eating some chalk. I don't like it, but I think you have to. It's Vegas and Davis for me. Snyder, what was your 1 and 2?
My 1 is going to be Johnny Vegas, and my 2 is going to be Brendan Grace.
All right, I like it. Hoop?
I'm right with you. Vegas and Cam Davis are my 2 favorites down here.
God, I like it. You're like, Benny, is that the notebook play? You're nervous there. You were nervous, right? I can see it.
Because the thing is, I have to play. I have to get a little exposure. A lot of times I get a lot of exposure, but I always have to get at least a little exposure to the workbook play. And thank God you didn't go there.
Yeah, no, it's the theme is good. A good putter. He's a bad putter, but we've seen him in the past. He can rack up birdies if the ball striking is there. And if he's on easy greens. So I gotta go look at these greens. But all right, boys, let's dive into the winners and let's get out of here. Snyder, talk to me. Your 2 guys, a guy that you just think is going to win, and then maybe a longer shot.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my favorite golfer, Colin Morikawa. I think he's going to win this week. So that's going to be my main guy. And I might as well go to my other guy, Matt McNeely at 55-1. Let's just put them both in and hope we can ship one of them.
Yeah, I like that. Hoop, what about you?
Up top, I'm going to go with our boy Tony Finau. I think he has a big year. Finally got that monkey off his back, picked up that win. I think he builds off of that. So give me Tony up top, about 25-1. Then we're going to come down. I'm going to go Aaron Wise. I'm going to go Aaron Wise. I really like Wise this week. The game's rounding into form. Like I said, it's been weaker competition. But he's a talented kid, and I think he kind of puts it all together and has a chance to ship this week.
Yeah. For me, I think it's a bad outright week. I like to bet on outrights when we have shitty fields. We get much better odds on some of these guys. Like Sung Jae last week, he probably had some decent odds there. Matt Wolff was like 45-1, finished second. This week, I see so much separation at the top. That it's going to be very difficult for me to dive down too low. I personally feel Dustin Johnson's going to win this week. I think he is a guy that's really due for a win. And honestly, from a DFS perspective, he's probably going to be one of the lower owned up here because of his price. His price tag is 11.3, most expensive guy. Then the other guy too, I got to go Tony Finau for if I'm taking a little bit longer of a shot. I don't have the odds up right now. Do you guys know what his odds are? He'd be a guy I would actually, if 25. I had to throw that. Yeah, 25-1. Okay,
yeah, he's 25 on DK.
Yeah, I mean, I could get behind that. Or what about Leishman? What are his odds? I mean, he's kind of right there.
Is 50-1.
Okay, so if I had to put a bet down, it would probably be Mark Leishman. I think the value there is definitely the best. All right, boys. Any final thoughts, Snyder?
No. I mean, I'm just looking forward to this no cut event. I'm not sure how I'm going to attack it, if I'm just going to go like 3 max or I'm going to throw like 100 lineups into that GPP or whatnot, but I probably will lean to more MME here since I like a lot of these 7K guys and some other guys up top. I want to get way overweight on Morikawa and Alexander for sure. Looking forward to another big weekend of football too. We got college football on Saturday. We've been doing really well on that. NFL this weekend. And looking forward to NBA starting next week and all the content that comes with that.
Yeah, me too. Hoop, final thoughts this week?
Yeah, fun times. I mean, we like I said, we got that promo going, the RPS NBA 15% off your monthly payment for life as long as you don't cancel. And like I said, if you've been on the sidelines waiting, kind of debating and picking the right time to get in, right now is that time because NBA going, NFL going, PGA, like I said, every sport one price. Now is the time to get in. RPS NBA 15.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be an MME week for me. I'm going to get very overweight. The guys we talked about up top, I think there's a nice edge there. We're going to fade the guys that are playing good. Rory, Speed, JT. It pains me to say, but he just hasn't been playing as good as some of these other guys. And so you make some significant stands there. We make some stands in that 8K range. And I think we're going to, get very overweight and we're going to find some uniques. And I think that's the path to ship this week. So if you haven't yet, before you leave, hit that like button on the way out, hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep this free each and every week. So much content left to go this week. Tons of NFL stuff coming. Everything's going to be up like it normally is. As Hoop said, we got that the current promo right now. RPS NBA 15% off for life, whatever subscription plan that you decide to use. I'm AP, Snyder, Hoop, Simon, get us out of here.